Shift of last Tuesday.
Now, have all their wines gone to Twist?
More and more are going that way, but you'll note 2010 Cabernet Franc has the Stelvin cap. The 2010 cap still has the cork. No idea why.
Now, are they using real cork or is that the artificial?
These are real. Keller, Hildebrand, Trius, they will never use artificial cork.
Why is that?
What?
They never use artificial cork.
No.
With artificial cork,
Artificial
plastic stuff or no?
Artificial cork is a synthetic material which is meant to breathe the same as natural cork, but it's better for the environment because you're not taking from the cork tree, which can only produce for 7 years. It does, however, affect, in my opinion, the flavor of the wine. It's not going to be as natural. And if you're not going to go real cork, then go Stelvin.
It's a winemaker's choice.
Winemakers are actually preferring
Stelvin
this.
is a winemaker's choice.
Okay. Why?
They feel it's... Sorry.
Go ahead.
It's like he's saying it, but not in his own voice.
You said, Jackie, would you like to take over? Yeah. You know how you feel with that.
I was answering your question.
One.
I was looking at it.
One. How much are we going to spill? You put a cork in, you're going to get some leakage. That's the other thing about the cork. The cork will breathe. It will absorb some of the flavors of what's around it. Is it in a damp place? Is it humid? What's around it? Are there animals? Will affect it. Whereas here, you are guaranteed the same amount of air, the same amount of humidity, which will therefore give you a smoother, more consistent aging of the wine. Whereas one that has a cork will breathe. You could have two bottles side by side. They're going to age differently because they're going to breathe differently. They're going to be affected differently. Whereas this will age the same. You could have 6 bottles of this in 6 different places. It's always going to age within reason. There are other factors involved, but to make it easy, long story short.
All other things being equal.
Ceteris paribus, yes. So. I love me that color. You're gonna note the color is a very, very bright garnet purple right now. The older a wine gets, the browner it goes. I drank.
Interject there.
Okay.
Just to say that something that's going to be very typical of the 2010s is that they extracted a huge amount of color from the grape of
Yes.
this vintage.
Now, when the wine turns brown, like when you had it, when you pour it, the red, no,
Oh,
I know.
That's when it's. I had
it's
it.
gone.
No.
A ready brick color?
That's
that
what you
is
want.
liquid.
Yeah.
Ah, glass. That is so good.
But I've never had it, but I've heard people say that it means it's off.
No.
These will tell you when it's off.
Yeah,
Yeah, your nose will
exactly.
tell you.
Color won't tell you.
If it smells,
This will tell you
if it smells like vinegar, if it smells like gasoline
or must
or
Yeah.
mold, then it's off. I
or
drank.
too much alcohol. It's way, way high in alcohol, then chances are it has starts to ferment in the bottle.
I drank a 2005 Chianti the other night, and it was ready to go, and it was almost the color of iced tea or Coca-Cola. It was that brown. It was a
And that's
dark.
Oh, really? Honestly.
Smell it. Yeah. Yeah, he does.
You're wrong,
Sorry.
you're wrong.
I didn't deliberately short for you. Okay. I'm excited. I'm excited because I haven't tried this one yet.
Hi, I'm here. Well, hello. Did you check in with Judy?
I did,
Okay,
yes.
perfect.
Okay, which means I need how many more?
Yes. Yes, I do.
You can get them out, Joe.
No, it's right here. There you go, Linda.
Oh, Jackie's happy. We're into the reds.
Share with Joan. Share with me.
Oh, hi. All right. So again, like Jackie just said, they extracted a large amount of color and skin from the grapes. The longer you leave the grape and the stems with the wine or with the juice at the time, the more color, the more tannic structure, the more flavor you're going to extract. Lighter reds like the Gamay, the Pinots, they leave the stems in less. Or a good rosé. Rosé is not a grape. It's usually a red grape, but the skin gets less contact. 12 to 24 hours. This Cab Franc had 14 days. 2 solid weeks of the juice sitting and soaking with the stems and the skin. So it's got a lot of color, a lot of body. They used a French oak barrel, and like I mentioned earlier, French oak has a softer tannic structure, a slightly floral note versus American oak barrels, which tend to be a little bit harsher, used more for bourbon because they've got a spicier note to the wood. It also uses full malolactic fermentation. That is a secondary fermentation process wherein the hard lactic acid is broken down into a softer acid, which makes it just the wine more palatable. It takes away a lot of the harshness of the wine. So again, give the wine a swirl. Okay, sweet herbs, blackberry, oak, spice, and eucalyptus. I don't get the eucalyptus yet.
There's green in there.
See, I got.
And I love a green Cab Franc.
See, I got basil. That's the sweet herb I'm getting is basil. Yeah, this is, I'll be honest, the worst possible glass to do this out of. What you want to use is that. We'll get to that. Sorry. This is my own personal glass. This is a Riedel glass. This you get at Bradshaw's in Stratford for about $65. This holds. Not this particular one though. This is not the average. This is only this has limited availability. Or if you can't find it, let me know and I can email you where you can get it from. That glass will hold an entire bottle. So yeah, 850 actually. 850. A 750 milliliter bottle comes to about here.
So once you pour it, you drink the whole bottle out.
Yeah, you can't actually say, I only had one glass of wine. I had one glass of wine, that's it. Now, I mean, some of you guys have been here before. I brought my glasses in. I've never brought that one, I brought my other cab in. So, there you go. A note from Jackie, an open red you should usually consume within 3 days. Because again, air's the enemy.
So
It's going to turn the wine. For me, an open bottle is an empty bottle. Or depending on if it was a bad day at my other job, 2 bottles. No. Okay, so let's take a taste. Again, rinse out your palate.
by day 3, it should be done.
Mouth probably just went really, really dry and dusty. And he's like, nah, I don't like that.
My third sip is good.
So when you stop,
So again, take another sip, chew your
I
wine.
go out there and Shell's like, somewhere. And she goes,
Get a little bit of herb
I've asked restaurants how long
tasting.
And then your mouth really goes dry. Because now it's fully coated in those tannins. It's a nice warm spice feeling the back of your throat.
And if they call it out of
It says sweet black fruits, black pepper,
I'll have a vodka.
and leathery notes.
I can really get the pepper.
I really get the pepper,
Yeah.
and I really get the leather.
I tried it.
I get, how many here, who else gets leather? Okay, you guys get leather? Okay, but yeah, I mean, if you drink whiskey, you'll know what leather tastes like. If you drink good bourbons and good scotches, a lot of times you'll hear leather in the tasting notes, so you learn to pull that out. And that's a lot of where my experience comes from is whiskey drinking, but that's a whole other story.
So you're gonna do one of those next, right? Like whiskey tasting?
Actually, I'm actually hosting a whiskey tasting on October the 6th at the Gallery on the Grand in Lancaster.
There you go. Okay.
For $50, you can come spend an hour, taste 4 premium bourbons. There's a Little Mushroom Catering is providing the food, so if you know Little Mushroom Catering here in town, she's providing the food for us. If you want, see me after and I'll give you the link. All right. So on the finish, once you've swallowed and you've got those
What
beautiful.
date is that? October 6th?
Thursday, October 6th, Election Day.
Yeah, just thinking.
So go vote, come drink. You can either celebrate or mourn.
Yeah, I know.
There you go.
Might need a big drink on it.
Okay, so on the finish, black tea, cocoa, black currant. I get the black tea, almost like the smell of it, like a yeah, which is delicious.
It's got a little taste.
13.5% alcohol, so it's a little higher on the alcohol level. 5.4 grams per liter of acid. You're going to note that whites, the acid and the sugar levels are usually a lot closer than your reds. Your reds tend to be more lopsided. and that's simply because of the barrel aging. Barrel aging will impart more acid. Serving suggestions say 16 to 18 degrees Celsius, and most of us, our houses are closer to 20. Best thing you can do, throw it in the fridge 5 to 10 minutes before you open the bottle. Even if you're going to decant, throw it in the fridge for 10 minutes, pull it out, decant it. And I've tried this with other bottles, and it does make, in fact, the 2008 limited edition Cab Merlot, I threw it in the fridge, I let it sit for 10 minutes, I decanted it. Whoa.
No, why is that?
Slows down the sugars, slows down the acids, and it just,
All the flavors.
you get more flavor. It's like drinking a white too cold versus a white at the right temperature. You're going to get the flavor, not the acid.
So even if you're going to decant it, you still put it in the fridge for 10 minutes? Even if you're going to decant it for half an hour?
Well, when you decant it, yeah, you're going to slow it down. It's going to aerate differently. So the acids are going to evaporate slower than if you just pour it in at room temperature.
So if you don't have a decanter, when you take it out of the fridge, leave it for...
If you take it out, pour the glass,
Pour it in a glass.
let the glass sit for 10 minutes. Okay? Serving suggestions. Barbecued meat. Herb lamb chops. Oh, love me my lamb chops. Beef or vegetarian stews, 1-year-old Canadian cheddar, prime rib, portobello burgers, or beef wraps. Yeah, portobello burgers.
Making me hungry.
Grill it up, little olive oil, balsamic vinegar, some good chèvre, caramelized onions. Gotta have the caramelized onions. There you go. See, I know how to win over points with the bus. What are you guys tasting out of this?
Current.
You're getting the currant? See, I don't eat a lot of black currant, so that's a really hard flavor for me to pick out. I get the pepper, I get everything else.
Yeah, and I got the pepper more than anything.
And that's why I like Cab
Halfway
Franc.
back on your tongue, like a little dry feeling.
Mhm.
That's black currant.
Really?
Yes.
All right. I should try more currant.
The first 2 times it was a little dry, but when you start drinking, it doesn't be that.
Okay. Now, before you get too far, we have, you're really gonna want this. We tried this, this is good. Okay, not only is it chocolate, and chocolate and wine go together like, yeah. X's and O's, we'll say that. We'll be like, this here's a family show. Dark chocolate with mousse, a cherry jelly, and a little bit of spice. So it is a cherry chili chocolate. Cherry chili chocolate. Come grab a piece, eat it, sip some wine, let it go. So while you've got the chocolate rolling around.
Gotta get the spice on that.
Oh no, yeah, the spice grows. Jackie and I tried a piece beforehand. She went to get something else, and she came back and she's like, I can feel the spice. Yeah. Now, if you've never been down to Peller or Hillebrand, on the
Why
week,
not? First of all.
First of all, why not?
I was there.
Second of all, get yourself down there on a weekend because around, I don't know what time Peller does it, but Hillebrand is usually 4 o'clock on a Saturday or Sunday. Hillebrand calls it Chicks and Chocolate. Yeah, I've done it too. For 10 to 15 bucks, you spend an hour, you get 4 wines, 4 different chocolates from all over the world, and they will pair wine and chocolate, and you can compare back and forth and back and forth, and find the right wine for the right chocolate. It is a ton of fun. And I'll tell you right now, I know that I have actually met the chocolatier. It's a company in Toronto called Saxon. I've met the chocolatier, and he is the next Willy Wonka. Because he made a dark chocolate and ice wine marshmallow.
Oh.
Exactly. Say no more. I have the recipe. I have the recipe for ice wine marshmallows.
So it's called Chicks and Chocolate?
Chicks and Chocolate. Peller just calls it wine and chocolate. Hillebrand, it's Chicks and Chocolate. You gotta try it.
Saturday and Sunday?
I'm not sure if it's both. It's one of those 2 days. Just check the website.
Yeah, I'll check their website.
Check the website. If you haven't been, you gotta go.
We're talking back around the lake, right?
Frank, come on. You know.
That's a good, that's a good idea. Or a bus, or
Rent a, yeah. There are buses, there are coach tours, there are bus tours.
Oh yeah, I've done a bus tour, but I mean, I like to go, a limo is a great
Meander.
idea.
So when you go down, you've been to Hillebrand, Peller, let me guess, Rafe, Stone Church, you've been to Caroline Cellars. Yep. They were on last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did the tasting
Also-
and stuff, so
Okay.
all of those.
Go on your own one day and go to Beamsville.
Friday.
Yeah.
Go see 30 Bench.
Friday.
30 Bench is one of our wineries. We own them. They're what we call an artisanal winery. They don't sell to the LCBO. They almost never sell in our stores. They don't produce enough. About 3 months ago, they released their 2007 Cabernet Sauvignon. It's now 2011. They just released it. They made 29 cases of this wine. That's less than 350 bottles. So they produce in very, very small amounts. But what they do make,
What's it called again?
30 Bench.
30 bench?
On the very same street, within 100 yards, you've got 30 Bench, Angels Gate, and Rosewood. And Rosewood just released their 2009 Pinot Noir, which is rhubarb, cranberry, dark chocolate, and spice.
You just had some of the Riesling. I got some of the Riesling over at your store.
Sorry, but I also know the owner of Rosewood because I work for him.
Do you have any coupons?
By like the fourth
No,
one, I drove like
you're better off.
Okay. I'll be there
I'll give you a few tips of places you can go and get free.
2 o'clock?
And that just-
Anytime. I'm there from 2 till 9.
How much? Maybe 10 people.
She's coming.
Maybe you really should go with it.
That's good.
That's a good idea. I never heard of that.